Oh.
Rachel Kelly here with the Fearless Online Entrepreneurs. Want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you to each one of you who have come out to join us this afternoon. We are excited about what we're going to be masterminding about today. So today our specific topic is 5 specific things you must do in order to move towards your goals. Each one of us have a goal, and there's going to be some specific steps that Jack Canfield is going to be laying out for us today. So if you don't have the book, it's called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Want to encourage you to get back to the person who invited you, get their Amazon link, and grab that book. And if you would like to be on the panel with us, a small group of women getting together, connecting together, then get back also with the person that invited you so that we can have you a part of the panel as well. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to move out of the way so that our lovely Jody Malley can give us another awesome day of hosting. She did such a fabulous day or a fabulous job hosting yesterday. And when she volunteered to do it again today, I got really excited. And everyone, we got such great reviews on yesterday's Hangout. So get ready, put your seatbelts on, and I'm going to move out of the way. Jody, over to you, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. As Rachel said, my name is Jody Maley. I live in the interior of BC, Canada. And also joining us is Diane Klein, she's actually a Canadian too, from Calgary. So got a couple Canadians on the panel today. Like Rachel says, we're going to talk from the Jack Canfield book and do some reading about the 5 steps that you can take just to set your goals. And I really enjoyed yesterday, and I want to give a big thumbs up to people who took some action yesterday about chunking some of your goals and then rewarding. So I know in our family we did that. I had my kids actually do some 20 minutes of tidying up and cleaning, and then they got a milkshake at the end. So when you reward yourself and your family, they're going to jump on board with what you have to do. So I think Diane was going to start our reading there, and we are on chapter 23 and page 178 if you are following along.
Okay, so 5 specific things that move you towards your goal. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. We sought the advice of Iron Scholastico, a wonderful teacher who told us, if you would go every day to a very large tree and take 5 swings at it with a very sharp axe, eventually...
Sorry, Diane, I'm trying to catch up with you. Are you on chapter 23? Practice the rule of 5?
Rule of 5, down by 5 specific things that move you towards your goal.
Oh, okay. I thought we were reading at the top. Okay, I'm with you now.
Oh,
okay.
Am I reading at the top?
That's okay. Wherever you go, we're fine. I just couldn't catch it.
Okay. Sorry, I thought we're starting here. Okay, so let's start again. We sought the advice of Iron Scholastico, a wonderful teacher who told us, if you would go every day to a very large tree and take 5 swings at it with a very sharp axe, eventually, no matter how large the tree, it would have to come down. How very simple and how very true. Out of that, we developed what we have called the rule of 5. This simply means that every day we do 5 specific things that will move our goal towards completion. With the goal of getting Chicken of Soup for the Soul to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. It meant having 5 radio interviews or sending out 5 review copies to editors who might review the book, or call 5 network marketing companies and asking them to buy the book as a motivational tool for their salespeople, or giving a seminar to at least 5 people and selling the book in the back of the room. On some days, we would simply send out 5 free copies to people listed in the celebrity address book. People such as Harrison Ford, Barbara Streisand, Paul McCartney, Steven Spielberg, and Sidney Poitier. As a result of that one activity, I ended up meeting Sidney Poitier at his request, and we later learned that the producer of the television show Touched by an Angel required all of the people working on the show to read Children's Soup for the Soul, to put the men in the right frame of mind. One day we sent copies of the book to the all juries and the O.J. Simpson trial. A week later, we received a nice letter from Judge Lance Ito thanking us for thinking of the jurors who were sequestered and not allowed to watch television or read the newspaper. The next day, 4 of the jurors were spotted reading the book by the press, and that led to some valuable public relations for the book. We made phone calls to people who would review the book, who wrote press releases, who called in to talk shows, some at 3 a.m. We gave away free copies at our talks. We sent them to ministers to use as a source of talks for their sermons. We gave free chicken soup for the soul talks at churches. We did book signings at any bookstore that would have us. We asked businesses to make bulk purchases for their employees. We got the book into the PXs on military bases. We asked our fellow speakers to sell the book at their talks. We asked seminar companies to put it in their catalogs. We bought a directory of catalogs and asked all the appropriate ones to carry the book. We visited gift shops and card shops and asked them to carry the book. We even got gas stations, bakeries, and restaurants to sell the book. It was a lot of effort. A minimum of 5 things a day, every day, day in and day out for over 2 years.
Wow. We're going to stop just right there. And I think we can go home now. There is so much information of what he said there. But basically, your 5 things to do is something that they were working on promotion of the book. So every day for 2 years, both Jack Canfield and Mark and Les, they made it the power of focus, really, to get out there and to promote the book. And obviously it was worth it because it has been a national bestseller. And, you know, I love reading their stories and stuff too. And I don't know if you can see this here. I grabbed it here while we were reading this because I'm also reading The Power of Focus, and I actually put a little sticky note to remind myself what these guys have done, and they committed to 2.5 years to do that. And you know, we I think are on an instant gratification where when we start a new business or we are learning something new, we want it to work within like a week or 2 or even a couple months. And I don't think that there's a lot of people nowadays who actually put in the effort that it takes to you know, promote your book or to promote your product or learn how to do it. Because when they said, you know, all of these things that they were doing, they probably just came up even with more and more ideas, right? So they kept themselves busy by making sure that every day they did that 5 things, and that 5 things included, you know, 5 specific things. So it probably sounds like they actually did about 25 specific things every day, and that's what made them successful. Anyone else want to share on that?
I love how he talks about how he went out and they did different things with those 5 ideas, and it looked like every time they did 5, they came up with 5 new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great strategy of what we could do with our business. Like, we kind of think, okay, if you do all of this stuff on your home computer, well, you can venture out of the home and you can do flyers and you can do all that other stuff too. So yeah, that's a great idea. I love it.
Yep. And Scarlett, I see you are on there. Did you want to make a comment as well?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying to speak. My computer's messed up. Yes, I actually love, first of all, Chicken Soup for the Soul, especially the children's, is one of my daughter's favorite books. But I like the idea because we are such a now instant gratification, instant. If it can't happen within so many days, we give up. You know, the to be able to go, okay, and have a goal, and I think that we kind of discussed that in our group as well, like we've got a time set up, I think is, you know, when you set something and then you can work backwards into it, I think is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I didn't realize that my speaker was on this whole time. I'm trying to undo it, and it's not working. So.
Nope, not a problem. Anyone else want to pop out on here and just put a little blurb in of what they've gained so far? Alrighty, then I'm going to go ahead and start reading the next part here. Look what a sustained effort can do. Was it worth it? Yes. The book eventually sold over 8 million copies in 39 languages. Did it happen overnight? No. We did not make a bestseller list until over a year after the book came out. A year. But it was the sustained effort of the Rule of 5 for over 2 years that led to the success. One action at a time, one book at a time, one reader at a time. But slowly, over time, each reader told another reader, and eventually, like a slow-building chain letter, the word was spread, and the book became a huge success, what Time magazine called the publishing phenomenon of the decade. It was less of a publishing phenomenon and more of a phenomenon of persistent effort, thousands of individual activities that all added up to one large success. In Chicken Soup for the Gardener's Soul, Geraldine Edwards described the day her daughter Carolyn took her to Lake Arrowhead to see a wonder of nature. Fields and fields of daffodils that extend as far as the eye can see. From the top of the mountain, sloping down for many acres across folds and valleys between the trees and bushes, following the train, there are rivers of daffodils in radiant bloom. A literal carpet of every hue of the color yellow, from the palest ivory to the deepest lemon to the most vivid salmon orange. There appeared to be over 1 million daffodil bulbs planted in this beautiful natural scene. It takes your breath away. As they hiked into the center of this magical place, they eventually stumbled on a sign that read, "Answers to the questions I know you are asking." The first answer was 1 woman, 2 hands, 2 feet, and very little brain. The second one was 1 at a time. The third started in 1958. 1 woman had forever changed the world over a 40-year period, 1 bulb at a time. What might you accomplish if you were to do a little bit, 5 things every day for the next 40 years toward the accomplishment of your goal? If you wrote 5 pages a day, that would be 73,000 pages of text, the equivalent of 243 books of 300 pages each. If you saved $5 a day, that would be 73,000, enough for 4 round-trip world trips. If you invested $5 a day, with compound interest at only 6% a year, at the end of 40 years, you'd have amassed a small fortune of around $305,000. The Rule of 5, pretty powerful little principle, wouldn't you agree? Yes, I would agree. I love this too, that we talked about yesterday how Diane and I have committed, and I know Rachel follows it too, and I'm probably sure Deborah and Scarlett have the same kind of thing, where we have written out kind of what our daily plan looks like and stuff. And I didn't actually realize it, but I am doing the Power of 5. So on my list, I have 5 items that I list for our business. I have 5 ads that I place. Again, he said 5 pages in a book. Well, I'm doing that because I'm trying to finish my own book. And everything with that 5 is very, very, I guess it's easier to attain. You know, if you put down, like, today you're going to read 100 pages in your book, it's probably not something that you're going to be able to do every day. However, doing that 5 bits at a time makes it a little bit more manageable.
And as you get good at it too, I think you can perfect it and work on it, and then you don't have to focus on the 100 items. You just focus on the 5, and you can get so much productivity out of that. And was that yesterday we were reading where they did a study of 25 minutes studying. That kind of applies here, because if you focus on those 5 and really do good at them and really get good at them, then your productivity will increase by folds.
Yeah, and again, it's just practice makes perfect, right? It might take you a while to get to those 5 the first couple of times, but until your brain kind of says, all right, I know how to do this, then those 5 things, at least for me, after a week or 2 of doing it steadily, I can be a lot more efficient, and then I'm done the task, and then I can go and, have some fun for 5 or 10 minutes early before my egg buzzer goes. All right. Did you want to comment on that, Scarlett, or?
I'm actually, thank you. I'm now you've got a goal for me, 5 of them. I definitely, one thing I just started doing last week was setting my goals the night before. I think we had when we were reading our last book, it talked about, in my Google, I think I've shared this too, I had in my Google Calendar, what I'm supposed to do all day. Well, it just got to the point I was ignoring my phone. Because I wasn't writing it out daily. But I like the 5 because, I like post 2 ads. So having to do 5, that means if I've got to do 5 ads a day, and I have to do 5, and I have 5 blogs, so I guess I could do 1 blog in each one of my blogs. So you're kind of stepping me up to the next level. I love how we used to do some accountability. I think maybe we should say, have you done your 5, every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to kind of make sure we're all. I have an accountability partner as well, but I think I like that idea. It kind of steps me up from my little lazy 2 to 5.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't have the time, because I do.
Yeah, I agree. I was doing 1 or 2 things a day, but yeah, we've stepped it up to doing 5, and if I don't have 5 ads placed. The other thing that we kind of touched on yesterday that was important is that, if you're in a learning curve and maybe in that allotted time you only do get 2 things done, just let it stop what you're doing, put that on to the next day, and then go on to a different task. Because you don't want to get yourself into overwhelm. And I know both Diane and I mean, she could speak for herself, of course, too, but we've been talking about it, that in the last week, we got overwhelmed. I mean, even as leaders, we're still learning things as well. We got overwhelmed, and neither one of us produced the results that we wanted. So we decided yesterday we were going to keep it simple, keep it focused, do what we do, and add in some new learning stuff, and keep ourselves moving forward.
Alrighty. You guys are like great accountability partners, I might say. I have a new one, and my goal is to be like you guys. So there you go.
Excellent. And
You're
actually,
very blessed.
We'll talk about that near the end here too, because we were actually asked next week on the Hangout to share how we work our accountability together and how it's really working out for us. So did you want to go ahead and read the next
That's exciting.
part? Yeah.
I wanted to,
Oh, okay, you jump in, Rachel.
Yeah, Jody, I like this portion also of the rule of 5 and the power of it. And then I wanted to also, you all were talking about overwhelm, so I had to step in here to help my friend Scarlett for a minute, because I don't want her to get overwhelmed with 5 blogs. So I mean, Scarlett, what I'm thinking is maybe 5 consistent things you can do on your blog, like put a video up.
Oh, better. Thank you, Miss Rachel. I love you. I was going to do 1 blog a day, you know what I mean? And then have, you know what I'm saying? Like, blog in each blog once a day. And I'm going, oh my gosh, now I got to do it 5.
No. Just 5 things maybe you can do on your blog that will help it to look, its best and optimum. I just don't want you all to get overwhelmed.
Oh,
No.
Exactly.
You were my new best friend. I knew I liked you.
All right, back to you, Jody.
That's a great idea. Yeah, 5 posts in 5 different blogs, that's probably too much, but yes. And the thing is that here's a great, I'll give another little tip here since we're talking about business and business blogs, you can actually go back into some of your best responses on your blog. So if you've had views on a certain topic or people have made comments and stuff, sometimes I don't even do a fresh insight to the blog or another post. What I'll do is I'll go back to some of my most popular topics and share those again. I'll share it onto my fan page, I'll share it onto my Twitter, I'll share it onto LinkedIn, and you'll even get more responses because you've had some initial movement on that blog post, and you can just do it a little bit more. I'll even do it on my YouTubes. So if I've gotten a really good response on a YouTube video, I might even redo that one and send it out again and sending it to your list or, yeah. Another thing that I like doing is also with your blog posts and your blog ideas and stuff, if you go into different forums and stuff and you see that people are asking questions about that, you could even say, hey, you know, a couple months ago that exact thing came up and here's, you know, the results of what other people were saying, and you could just add in your little blog URL and then people can go and look at it. And you're doing it in such a way that it's contributing to the conversation, not taking over the conversation, and you come across as being more helpful than being salesy or pitchy. All right. So I think we're just going to go on to, and yes, the rule of 5. That is a pretty powerful little principle. We're going to start on principle number 24, exceed expectations. And
would you like me to read?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Exceed 20. Except. Sorry. 24. Exceed expectations. It's never crowded along the extra mile. Wayne Dwyer, co-author of How to Get What You Really, 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 Really Want. Are you someone who consistently goes the extra mile and routinely over-delivers on your promises? It's rare these days, but it's the hallmark of high achievers who know that exceeding expectations help you stand above the crowd. Almost by force of habit, successful people simply do more. As a result, they experience not only greater financial, but also a transformation, becoming more self-confident, more self-reliant, and more influential with those around them. Go the extra mile. Seattle-based Dillonist Coffee Roasters roast coffee beans and distributes them to coffee retailers in almost all 50 U.S. states. Dillonist's mission statement is help people make friends and have fun. The company has 6 core values that guide all of their activities. They are so committed to these values that the entire staff of 28 reads the list in unison at the end of every staff meeting. Number 2 on the list is provide an extra mile level of service, always giving the customer more than they expect. This means that they treat every one of their customers like they treat a best friend, someone you'd go an extra mile for. In 1997, those friends, Mary Cox, who owned 4 of the It's Grind coffee houses in Long Beach, California, was just an average-sized customer. But Marty had big plans for the future. Founder and CEO David Morris wanted to help his friend fulfill his big dream. Delana shipped their beans by UPS, but in 1997, UPS went on strike, creating a threat to Marty's livelihood. How to get Marty's beans, the lifeblood of his business, from Seattle to Long Beach. Delano's considered the option of using the post office, but the company had heard through the grapevine that the post office and FedEx were way overworked because of the UPS strike, and they didn't want to risk the beans arriving late. So Morris rented a trailer and drove his 800-pound coffee order to Marty's location. 2 weeks in a row, David made the 17-hour drive from Seattle, to Long Beach. Delivered Marty's 1-week coffee supply, drove back, got more coffee, and drove down there the next week and delivered it again. That kind of commitment to go the extra mile, literally 2,320 miles round trip, turned Marty into a loyal long-term customer. And what has that meant to Delonis? In the past 6 years, Marty's 4 stores grew into a 150-store franchise with retail operations in 9 states. Marty is now Delonis' biggest customer. Going the extra mile pays off. As a result of going the extra mile for all their customers, Delonis has grown from a 25-pound roaster in one 1,600 square foot room roasting 200 pounds of beans in a month in 1992 to 2 800-pound roasters in 26,000 square foot facility delivering over 1 million pounds of coffee beans a year, with annual sales over 10 million and a growth rate that is on track to double every 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You know, someone had asked me before, because I've been a leader in a candle company, and my daughter, who lives a ways from me, has just started up in a spice company up here in Canada. And she had asked me, well, I want to promote my business. I want to promote my business like all across Canada, because of course she sees big as well too. And I said to her something that for years, have even taught my own consultants and girls on my team, and it's this: going that extra mile. I said to her, you don't have to have thousands and thousands of customers in your first year of business. I said, if you develop a good relationship, probably between 35 to 50 customers, and develop that in your first year of business, those are going to be the people who year after year are going to be hosting shows for you. Those are going to be the people who year after year, because you went that extra mile to provide them with such good service off the beginning, that it will just continue to grow and grow. And so many people in a lot of different businesses think that you have to have thousands and thousands of customers. And in reality, that's not true. By providing good value and good service to just a handful of people will keep them your loyal customers for as long as you're running the business you are. So anybody else want to make a few comments on that, where you've been in a situation where going the extra mile paid off?
I just wanted to jump out here, Jody. I used to work for a bakery in Winnipeg for 10 years, and we were an organic bakery. And for the first, I think it was 5 or 6 years, there was absolutely no advertising done. It was all word of mouth. And it was because we gave value to these people and they knew what kind of product we were providing. But it wasn't just that. The owners of the bakery were just like unbelievable people, and they would just give unbelievable value to their customers. Their customer were their priority, and the product was priority, but the customers always were the priority. So it doesn't matter what kind of business you do. It doesn't matter what you do in life. It will pay off.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you don't see, like I said, we live in a society where we want instant gratification and results. But, just like they said, even with their book, they put in over 2 years of promoting their books, doing those simple 5 things every day. And we also talked earlier in one of the steps, too, that people give up before they're so close to that, that gold mine, and then they just give up. So anyone else want to share on something that has helped them by going the extra mile with their brand or your business?
Good morning, everyone. First, want to give honor to our Lord and Savior, who allowed us all to be here on this beautiful, beautiful, damp, cool morning.
Good morning, Sharon.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to say that, when I was out in the corporate world, I used to do procedures and policies and stuff like that for the organization I worked with. And they were so detailed and everything that I got a lot of compliments on how the information was provided to them and how easy it was to follow. So when you give value, or when you go that extra mile and you put your heart into it, when people review the content that you're giving them, they will know if it is of value to them, and they will know if you took the time necessary to create the content. Sometimes people throw things together and then they get upset when people don't appreciate what they've done. You didn't put the time and effort in, so it doesn't have the same value and the same meaning as when you sit down and you go that extra mile for your team, for whoever, for yourself. Do it for yourself because you know what kind of content you want out there. So go that extra mile for you.
Absolutely. We have Deborah on here too, and Terry. Do either one of you guys want to put a little bit in here just as we are wrapping up? Okay.
Jody, I'm
there's
fine.
Deborah.
I'm just listening today. When you guys were talking about going the extra mile, it made me think about before I came online, I had an offline concession mobile market for 22 years. I did very well in that business, and I was mobile in it for the last 6 years. I got a stationary location near a park. And what was so ironic, for the first 2 years, City Council here in Cincinnati fought me tooth and nail, hired a lawyer, and wanted to shut me down because I parked next to a park, and right across the street from it, one of the city councilmen actually owned that senior building. Going the extra mile was, for me, there was no venue for the seniors. That basically around the park there were 4 senior buildings. Could get to a store for less than 2.5 miles. So they had to get on the bus just to go to store to get, everyday items. And because I was so persistent with them and hired someone that they could call the truck and I'd have door-to-door delivery and stuff, I fought tooth and nail with the city council. In the end, when I shut the business down, the seniors went to city council and begged for me to come back. They were so accustomed to me being there every day and being available for them. It was a convenience for them. And I find it ironic because I stuck to my guns and stayed there for the length of time that I did. The very same people that wanted to get rid of me actually came to my home and talked to me about putting the truck back out on the street. So it's that, if you believe in something strong enough and you're doing something for someone else, you just got to stay persistent and go the extra mile. I could have gave up when they were trying to take me to court, pulling me in front of city council and all of that, because that was a hurdle I never anticipated. But I just felt like they were too narrow-minded and not really looking at the benefit I was giving to the seniors in that community. So, you just have to hold your guns and say, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, on a day-to-day basis for like 6 months, I had to fight cops and threats and all kind of stuff from officials that should have been there to help me, but they were actually there to hurt me, shut me down. And you never know how God is working things out, because when I got licensed by the Board of Health, I actually was very angry that I had to get a state license versus a city license. And the blessing of that was, in the end, I got that state license, and in order for them to shut me down, they had to shut every truck in the state of Ohio down. So be guided by God, because you never know what doors He's opening for you. And just stay persistent in what you're doing.
Yep, absolutely.
Go that extra mile, don't let obstacles stop you, because on the other side is the blessing.
And so we're going to wrap it up here on that note, and leaving, we'd love to hear from people who are watching this or listening to it again at their leisure, but definitely make some comments here. I think that there are a lot of stories of where going the extra mile, literally, as Deborah did in her story, and the story that was read, there are, and as Sharon had said too, you have situations where maybe you don't always give it your best and people can see that. However, you go that extra mile, you develop a relationship with people either in your business or in your personal life, and they're going to remember that down the road, that you went the extra mile for them, and they'll come back to you. That is true enough. So again, I want to say thank you to everyone for being on the panel today. And you can go to our Fearless Online Entrepreneur Facebook group, make some comments there, rewatch the video or share it. And we would love to hear from everyone as to, you know, maybe even take that extra step today. What is today something different that you can do that is a blessing and pass it on to someone else? All right, so take care. Thank you again for joining us. Make it a great day. Jody here in BC.